Self-care. That's a popular trending topic. Give me 1 to 2 points of why you feel this is an important topic when it comes to being a hairstylist or salon owner.
That you would like to work longer than 10, 15 years of your career? Welcome, trendsetters. We are Alicia and Nicole from Positive Image. As salon owners, hairstylists, and business coaches, we're here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of the beauty industry and discover the secrets to creating a thriving salon business. So grab your favorite beverage, cozy up in your salon chair, and let's dive into the world of hair, style, and entrepreneurship together. I didn't go to hair school and learn everything just to kind of have my hair career end after 10 years because I decided that wearing high heels all day, every day was going to be a good thing.
But you look so cute. Tangent, because I'm so good at tangents. I'm short. If people don't know me in real life, I'm 5'1". I'm short. When I started hairdressing, I would actually keep heels in my little cubby at my station in case I had a tall client.
That makes sense. It does. Because it's not like, working on a stepladder is not really conducive to our industry. So you definitely need something. And chairs only go down, although I have seen a few chairs that you can buy that are lower for the shorties.
I have a couple low chairs, but I didn't have them where I was before.
So yeah, shoes. Shoes are such an important thing that I don't know. I've developed a really close relationship with my podiatrist recently because sadly I have plantar fasciitis and I have nerve damage in my feet from standing and being a hairstylist for so long. And shockwave therapy is incredible for plantar fasciitis, just for those stylists.
Shockwave therapy, okay.
It's amazing. But one of the biggest things that she was talking to me about is really make sure that you're stretching and that you're stretching properly and that you're stretching your calves and you're stretching your palms and arms and just getting those stretches because I don't know because I didn't take, I'm 42 years old. Realistically, I should have another 20 something years on top of my career. I cannot honestly say that my body will allow me to continue cutting hair for 20 years. The past 10 years, I haven't taken care of my body. I've taken care of my mind. I've taken care of my staff, but I am on the heavier side and I don't exercise and I don't stretch and I don't eat as well as I should. And that's all on me. And why I'm telling this to you and the world out there is because don't abuse your body the way that I have. Don't think that, in your 20s that you will remain that size 6 or that size 8 because you will not. Age is not for the faint of heart, and it does happen where you need to really take care of yourself. And if you want your career to last you 40, 50, 60 years. So my natural progression now is getting into education and telling everybody about what they need to do to their body. But I think it is such an important topic is self-care, and just come from somebody who's having a lot of issues now because they didn't do that self-care when they were healthy and active.
I think that's such an authentic and vulnerable share, Nicole. Thank you. I hope that people hear that and receive that and actually understand, one, that people aren't alone, that you're not the only one feeling that, and that you can always start to do little things to help improve your overall health, internal, external, whatever that looks like. And everyone's got their own little things. But I think, even just the littlest things help. And whether we're talking about physical things or even mindset, I think all these things really do help our bodies feel better for the long term. So, yeah. Thank you. For myself, I am a small frame person. I had a reasonably athletic upbringing and not a lot, but I have had a couple points in my life where I have put on, 10, 15 pounds. And as a small frame person who has a small frame family, even that 10 to 15 pounds, although I don't see myself as fat or feel fat or whatever words come to mind for people, I still didn't like it. I didn't feel good. I didn't like myself. And that affects me on a daily basis. But when those things happen, and of course during the pandemic, and I also stopped hairdressing for about a year, I did put on weight. And that also made me think about like, how do these things even happen? Right. So you start to go into thinking about how do I eat right? How do I eat? Be in a calorie deficit, but not starve. So like, when you start thinking about being mindful of your health, I feel like this is a whole nother tangent of a podcast, but that's okay. Being mindful of exercising on a regular basis. So whether that's stretching, so like yoga, making up your own stretches, whatever feels good for you, like take from different modalities. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be at home. You don't have to pay tons of money to go somewhere. Whether you want to go lift weights, and after a certain age, what for me, when I got into my late 20s, suddenly I was like, oh, I'm at work 5 days a week for 8 to 10 hours a day, burning calories and not eating a lot of calories because we hairdressers don't tend to eat all day when we work. This is not good. This is not good for our industry. So like preparing meals, being mindful of getting in that protein, fat, and your macros, turning into a fitness podcast. Um,
Chewing your food. So not just trying to like wolf down a sandwich, like actually give yourself like 10 minutes to eat and digest and enjoy a sandwich. I think there's a lot of jokes that going on. Like we take a pee break and a lunch break at the exact same time and, put water in our bodies once in a while. And just
yeah,
having those things are so important just to make sure that
yeah.
we are, drinking enough water.
Coffee is not a reasonable diet for a hairstylist. It may fuel you. It may keep you going. Yes, pre-workout is caffeine, but it is not calories
No.
or nutrition. Yeah, I think that, well, I feel like that covers that. Like, definitely get some kind of system or structure that works for you. Stretching out, weight training, cardio, whatever works for you, and preparing your meals, meal prep, macros, even if it's a shake, like a meal shake or soup, like even if that's what you're living off of, because you might not be chewing, but at least you're getting something in you. With just bucket through the straw, you're good. At least there's something in your body while you're burning. I think I read when I looked it up one time, it's like 600 to 800 calories that we burn for a regular 8 to 10 hour shift. And the average meal that we have is 300 to 500 calories. So like if we're only eating dinner, like we're disappearing.
On the other hand, if you're only having like a small meal throughout the day and you get home and then you're binge eating all the way until the evening, and let's add alcohol on top of that because you've had a stressful day, and that's the way we calm down because we haven't learned other coping techniques. This is how those bad habits develop.
Yeah, 100%. And then like that goes into like a whole another thing that I don't actually fully understand, where your body actually starts to store fat and store sugar and like hold on to these things. So like even though you still haven't actually consumed enough and you've burned a ton of calories, your body's still holding on to the things that make your body feel heavy and uncomfortable and tired, to not have the energy to go through another day. So you are tired. So you end up in the same cycle. You don't prep your food and you just have another nice, delicious glass of wine with TV on the couch again at the end of the night. Uh, it's a vicious cycle, vicious cycle.
And I feel like that's what happened to me actually. Was like
Yeah.
not eating enough, eating a lot at home, but then because your body is almost storing calories throughout the day, and then when you do eat, it's kind of like, oh, well, we're not going to use the stored calories. We're just going to consume it. And then it just like perpetuates. And then also quitting smoking on there. That becomes,
Right. Because then usually you gain weight when you quit smoking, right?
yeah. For me, that was like probably 60 pounds was when I quit smoking. Like I quit smoking 3 years in a row. And each year it was 20 pounds, 20 pounds, 20 pounds. And then the habit, it's still a hand to mouth habit. Now it just
Yeah.
becomes like, now this is a potato chip or it's
Yeah.
something else to soothe, why the mental side of things needs to be such a strong component of the stylist self-care.
I think that's exactly it. Let's get into the and mindset of self-care and what that looks like.
Right. So then when we get into like the bad habits that we're having on the couch at night and stuff like that, we don't have a good sleep cycle. And so our
Mm-hmm.
mind can be jumping all over the place. And you add a drug like alcohol or cigarettes or marijuana into that. And then we're
Mm-hmm.
not rested in the morning. We're rushing to go to work and we don't have time for that mental side of it, the self-care or even having a good routine, which is so important.
100%. Deep breath. I feel like this is a heavy episode. So first thing comes to mind, and I'd love to know what you also feel is key there. I feel like I'm always preaching to clients or even team members, to set a timer for like 5 minutes just to breathe. Because when we're in this cycle of not good care of our bodies, not good self-care, it's hard to get out. And I feel like the first step is breath, remembering to breathe. And that instantly calms our brain so that we can even take a moment to analyze and have the self-awareness of what's working and what's not working so we can actually start to create good habits in our life. Because we can have self-care days where we, put all the candles, all the nice meditation music and the baths and all this essential oils and all these nice things, or just go to the spa, get a massage, and we can do those things. But if we're not affecting our brain's patterns, it's so short-lived. It's like the number of people that have told me lately that they went on vacation. The vacation was amazing. And a week after back to work, it was like they never had a vacation
Mm.
because we haven't affected change for our daily habit.
And I know there's something like I'm trying to get into more of a meditation routine. So every morning, just even taking 1 minute, like 1 minute of meditation is still better than 0 minutes of meditation. And just
Yeah.
having that time to consciously breathe, to consciously just be still. And, they say I think it's a Buddhist thing. They say you have to tame the jumping monkey, and the jumping monkey is our mind. And it's true. And our minds are all over the place. I think not just hairstylists, just anybody in general. It's all over the place. So taking that time just to sit there and be still with your breath, put your phone down and just be calm and settle. And whether that's something you do first thing in the morning or that's something you do right before you go to bed is such an important routine to get into.
Mm-hmm.
And routines and habits aren't built in one day. They're built time after time after time. So making sure that, give yourself little triggers or put a sticky note on your mirror. It's like, have you had your minute break today or whatever it is you need to put on? And then from there, building in a sleep cycle routine and really make sure that you get I need 9 hours of sleep. Like I am a heavy sleeper.
I hear you.
My husband, he is good with 6 hours. He gets up at 6 a.m. without an alarm and he's up. And I don't understand it, but God love him. It's great. I need to sleep in. That's 6 a.m. Nicole is not a Nicole most people want to be around.
I feel
Uh,
you.
yeah. But knowing your cycle, knowing your rhythm, knowing what your sleep schedule is, and once you know that, are you a morning person or are you a night person? Because if you're a night person and your boss or you're starting work at 9 a.m., you're not going to be the most effective stylist or person at
Yeah.
that time versus working at 8 o'clock in the evening. So having that awareness around yourself.
I think that's a great point to point out too. And like, whether you're the salon owner, asking your stylist, like, what are your best hours? Or you're the stylist advising your owner what your best hours are and asking for that schedule. Um, Obviously not every time is going to work for what the business requires, but if we're not asking, we're not receiving. So we really need to sit down and think about what actually works best for us. And honestly, maybe, and sometimes my stylists want to work more and they're welcome to, but I'm often coaching like, work a 4-day week. Like, does that work better for you? Or are you actually better on 5 days? Like, you like that structure. So figuring out, or maybe it's not 8 hours a day. It's like 4 to 6 hours a day. Like, what is your best schedule? Are you a night person? Are you a morning person? Like you're saying, Nicole, where are your people gonna be? Like we're saying this in another episode of, like, you attract your like people. So honestly, not everyone, but most of my people are also night people like myself. And that's just what it is. So your clientele is going to match that. That doesn't mean the clientele of the whole business is going to match that. And therefore you have stylists that will prefer different hours and they'll work the opposite. And I think that's really being true to yourself. And maybe for, 3 months or maybe just the quiet seasons, you need to work less hours in a day so that you can build the habits to take care of yourself. Because if we're not creating the habits to take care of ourselves, what are we doing behind the chair? Because we're not actually offering everything like the goods that we have to offer. We're offering at a different kind of deficit.
Well, and maybe on that point too is like if you're only working a 4 to 6 hour day, you might be more effective in that 4 to 6 hour day than you would be in an 8 hour day. You might actually have a busier schedule, being like knowing that you have that short amount of time. You might be able to fit more clients in. And so now you're actually utilizing the amount of time that you're in the salon rather than just saying, oh, I'm here for 8 hours. And then you become almost lazy doing the clients. Now it's like, nope, I have 6 hours. I'm going to get this and this done. I'm going to hit these targets. And then you can potentially be more effective. And I think the last point, there's a few points, but I think the last point that I really want to hit in this talk is make sure that you know what your after work person is like. Meaning, I know, Alicia, you and I had this discussion quickly, and I'll share my story. Is my husband moved here from Australia to be with me. So the first 9 months he was here, he was kind of off and on jobs, but a couple times he'd be home by himself all day. And it was a Saturday, and I would get home from work and I would be exhausted, and I'd just come home and I'd want to sit on the couch and I would want to Candy Crush because that was my after work therapy. And I would come home and he would be right there and he'd try to be talking to my day and he'd be all excited to see me. Yeah, he's like a little puppy dog. And I was just like, I can't, I've been talking all day. And it took us a little bit for me to have the awareness to say like, look, I need 30 minutes minimum just to kind of relax and unwind. And so eventually he got it and it was great. I'd come home, he'd give me a glass of wine, he'd give me the phone charger, and then he'd kind of pop out of the kitchen about 30 minutes later going, are you good now? And I was like, yep, we're good. And then we would start our evening together. But that awareness is key. It is key. And I know you shared that it can also like really break a relationship too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but my ex-husband eventually got it, but I think it was still a challenge for him. And, we were very young. Like we got married when we were like 23, 24. We were babies. And I didn't know how to set boundaries. Our communication was definitely flawed because we were babies. He didn't really quite understand or have an understanding of it until we watched a Simpsons episode where Homer becomes a hairdresser and he fakes his death to get out of being a hairdresser because he's so exhausted from people talking with him all day.
I have not seen that.
Yeah, well, we'll have to look for it. It was finally that episode, and he said, "Is that how you feel every day?" And like, yes, that is why I can't do this at the end of the day. I need like a good half an hour to an hour just like staring into nothing. Because that's just what it is. And I mean, we all have different ways, but I think we've all sat in the salon chair and not left the salon for a good half an hour because we're just like, I can't do anything. I'm done. I need to wait until I have the energy to leave.
God forbid that like your assistant or the other staff have left and now you still have to sweep and clean your station as well as cash out and get your butt in your car or walk home, whichever one it is.
Yeah.
So yes, I think we all need to have that awareness and learn how to have that conversation with the partner and explain to them what you need, how they can support you. It's not that you're ignoring them, but it's like, I've just had a really long day. And even if it's a text message, like you have a code word that just says banana and you just text message them banana. And that just means that they're going to have a nice cheese and meat platter or like crackers when you get home, whatever your beverage is. And just that, like, just give me half an hour or an hour. That's amazing.
So let's recap. So set some boundaries if you need them.
Yep.
Watch some things on how to set boundaries. Self-care isn't just about having a spa day.
No, although it is important.
It is important. Yeah, do those things. We're not saying don't do those things. We're just saying let's take it a step further. So if you are having that spa day, maybe that's your moment to journal down how you would like your life to look, how you would like to improve your life. How your life could be better. And it's totally okay if your new habits don't start right away. And it is basically a month of consistency to build a new habit, but it's okay if it's not consistent. It's okay if it takes you a year or more to figure out that habit, as long as you have the awareness that it's something to start doing. So still take spa days, still take baths, reading, walks, I don't know, night out dancing, whatever it is. You do whatever. I don't know. We're all different, but also being mindful of habits. So being mindful of our bodies, whether it's working out, whether it's in any form, whether it's stretching, whether it's like physical training, anything, being mindful of our eating habits. And I think we didn't fully touch on it, but your posture behind the chair is important. It matters. I think the best posture I've ever had when I was being consistent with yoga, and it just made me think of, I think it's mountain pose, where your hips are a bit more balanced and your shoulders are balanced and you're kind of just sitting on top of each other and your weight's on your heels. And think about that when you're standing behind the chair to actually be balanced versus hunched over on your shoulders, leaning forward or leaning on one leg versus the other. Or, should you be raising and pumping up your chair or should you be lowering it? Thinking about these little things on a daily basis. Again, it's not an instant fix. It's an overtime fix. Once you start to think about it, you start to have awareness and then you start to create change.
Yes, definitely. And then also like making sure your sleep schedule is good.
Sleep.
That you're wearing appropriate shoes and try and develop more of a mindfulness, like a meditation or something along those lines, just to be able to take that time for you and breathe. Just breathe.
Breath is so important. If that's all you do.
Yeah. If you're going to take one thing away from this entire episode, it's just breathe.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Take this knowledge and just keep developing yourself. And hey, we want to hear from you too. Join the conversation using our hashtag #PositiveImagePodcast. Share your thoughts, questions, and success stories. Who knows? We might just feature you on an upcoming episode. Don't keep us a secret. Tag your friends too. Want to keep learning? Check out our show notes. Find us on Instagram at hello.positiveimage and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. filled with inspiration and insights.